My background, I came into teaching I was a high school teacher, then I was a television writer, and then I was a college teacher. And I was doing this merely because I knew how to do this, but it suddenly occurred to me, for the Journal of Screenwriting, I reviewed a book a couple years ago called The Pedagogy of Adaptation. So I'm going to talk about adapting stories into films as a way of getting students to understand the books better. And it's something that makes much sense to them, because I begin by discussing the whole concept, because when you make a film adaptation, you have to think critically about the book you're given. It's 800 pages and you need to make it a 110-page screenplay. What are the most important scenes? What are the themes of this book? What are the moments that make those themes come true? And that becomes very interesting to them because they all think they know movies. They've lived with movies all their lives. So I was really shocked to find that these guys thought it was wonderfully academic to do it in this fashion. I thought it was just me going, here's what I do, let's try this. So I do it in our program in World Civ with Gilgamesh, right? So that's a book they all have to face, and they're not sure they're ready for that or interested in that. And so what I have handed out are the 11 steps of story structure, and they come from this book, which I also teach in the radio team film department at Cal State Fullerton. And so we use this book to start all our screenwriters with. It's written by Jules Selvo, and I think she's brilliant. There are many books like this you can choose from. There's a book called Save the Cat. Teaches you how to write a screenplay. Put a cat up a tree, make some trouble, save the cat. You've made a film, right? The obstacles. Here's a problem, here's the obstacles, I saved the day. So there are many books a person could choose from, and the kids can even research those. But some steps are 21, 37, 11 is nice and clean for a classroom. So I literally have them first, we've read the book as a class in one way or another. Then I make them think of the 11 steps of the movie almost everyone in the room has ever heard of, which is Star Wars. You'll find 2 kids in every room that have never seen it. Everybody else knows it by heart. And so they're very happy to work with a text and a story that they understand so deeply. Once they've figured out that there are an easy 11 steps, and if you notice the piece of paper I just passed out, right, they're the basic things we've always heard of. Within the first couple scenes of any movie, a character will tell you what they want. And that goes right back to Snow White singing, I'm wishing, and it's a little thing right at Disneyland. She tells you what she wants at the beginning of the movie. Every movie does that. It'll make you crazy when you start watching movies with these in mind, because you start saying, oh my God, he just told me what he wanted. Oh, that character just did this, right? So you go down the list, and so they say to themselves in the Star Wars world, Luke tells you in the first couple scenes, I want to leave this town and go join the Jedi Alliance. And the uncle denies him, right? He asks for the chance, he logically goes for it. The uncle says, no, you can't, I need you here to work on the harvest, you have to stay, right? So he's denied, that's pretty much your act 1, right? And then he has to have a second opportunity. Sadly in Star Wars, it's the aunt and uncle are destroyed by the bad guys, right? So then he has no reason to stay there anymore. Bam, the movie gets started. So they go through that, and they're very pleased to know that they understand this idea. They can follow the passage of the movie. I let them pick other movies as well. Some will pick Harry Potter, they'll pick Lord of the Rings, whatever it is. Once they've done it as a small group, in whatever movie they chose, they'll share that. Then as a group, they go back and they do it for Gilgamesh. And they have to start really thinking about, what did I learn in this book? What was the message that the people of this time were given from this epic? If this is the epic of our time, what did this epic tell us about those people? And so then we go back and forth. What do you learn about Americans from their love of Star Wars? What do we learn about Mesopotamians from their love of Gilgamesh? And they start to really see the importance of stories and storytelling in any culture. And that is how we build ourselves up, and we learn what means something to you. Here, in many ways, friendship becomes, in both of these books, a deeply important thing. So I think that for me is really fun. And the book that I reviewed a couple years ago that made me go, ooh, look, other people can do this, and it's not just because I once did television, had to do with the idea that this is truly collaborative thinking, and it makes them complex thinking because they're looking through the book. The other thing I brought in was a copy of this magazine, the Magazine of the Writers Guild. Wonderful interview with Steve Cloves, who adapted the Harry Potter books, which again is a good discussion they can easily get involved in. How could you take those books and make them into such small films? And Cloves said right up front when he was interviewed in the very beginning, you have to think, what is the theme of this movie? And no storyline that doesn't support that theme can be included. And by doing that, he's never had anyone be angry with him at what wasn't included in film, which you would think would be a huge job for someone. And then they start thinking about the books they read, and what was in the movie and what wasn't. So all of that becomes very fun. And in the end, what I assign them to do, of course, is to come up with the 11 steps of this, and then they're going to write a treatment as if they were making this into a film. So now they're deciding what those scenes will be and how they will go. They have quite a good time with it. If I have a shortened time in classes, instead of going into a whole treatment, I will have them write the pitch. and then I will borrow from Andy's role playing, they will then perform, someone will get to be the movie executive and he'll sit in the little chair like this, and the other two people in the group will sit there and explain, we've got this great movie idea for you, and they go through the 11 steps and tell us the story and why it's going to be so wonderful.
Great. I love this.
It's hilarious and fun, and you can do it with any text. I brought this in.
You can also have them make movie posters too. If you want to work on a few days on a book, once they've done that, you can say, now make a poster for your movie.
And the posters
and we know here are the elements that are in a movie poster.
Exactly.
And now and just have this as an assignment.
I know. I'm
really
thinking this is going in my next.
It's quite fun, and I had a bunch of wonderful quotes that proved how academically brilliant this was, and it goes right down to the fact that we're teaching them to deeply read. And in a world where they're not used to reading, when you blend in the movies they love with the books they came from, they begin to see that the books can be as exciting as the movies. And I think that's really important.